Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. In this video we're going to be looking at this. This is the CR3.4 Sherpa from Absima. It is a 1/10 scale rock crawler, trail truck type thing based on the Jeep Wrangler. Obviously normally this is a very FPV drone focused channel. But with the current situations in the UK, with the lockdown and the small matter of a global pandemic, not been getting out to fly a great deal. Technically, I don't even think we're supposed to be going out at all. So, to get my RC fix, I decided to start looking at cars. Used to have a car when I was a kid, Tamiya, like a lot of people. And it came to Christmas and my wife was asking me what I wanted for Christmas, so I just sort of randomly said, you can get me one of these, and sent her a link to a WL Toys 144001. Very popular, great little car. A lot of fun for sort of about £80. Fantastic little thing. And that really re-sparked an interest for me in cars. And very, very quickly, I started looking at crawlers. So I chose this one based on the features and the price. So we'll go through some of those. It is a very feature-rich car for a sort of, I want to kind of say top-end, cheap price. And when I say cheap, it's not super cheap. It's £380, but it is ready to run. All good to go. All you need to do is put a LiPo in it and some AA batteries in the receiver and you're all set to go. I actually use 2200 3S LiPos in this, and they're the same ones that I use in my FPV spec wing, so that's really handy. I've got a pile of those already. Get about an hour's run time out of each one, which I think is amazing. Take 2 or 3 of those out on the trail and you're easily got enough for a full morning's walking around. Or a couple of hours crawling at a spot, so it's great. Okay, before we get down into the details, just a quick reminder to hit the like if you're getting some benefit and some use out of this video or enjoying this content. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you see the latest videos as soon as they come out. Right, let's take a look at this thing. Okay, so like we said in the intro, this is a 1/10 scale rock crawler based on the Jeep Wrangler truck. It's not a licensed body, so it's not exactly scale, but it's pretty good actually. I think it looks really cool. I love the metallic blue. Comes in 4 colours. They are this metallic blue, a very bright orange, which is really nice as well, a sort of matte olive green, and a matte grey. In fact, all of them are really nice colours. Really like the colour schemes. I've made a few tweaks and changes to mine already, so it's not quite standard out of the box, but I'll explain those as we go along. So it has a 21 turn 550 brushed motor, 60 amp hobby wing, 1060 ESC. It has portal axles, which I had no idea what that meant when I first got it, but that means there is a second set of reduction gears at the wheels, which also serves to raise the axles up off the ground a little bit, gives it a bit better ground clearance. And also helps to gear it down a bit for crawling, so it slows it down nicely. It comes with 1.9 inch beadlock wheels and tyres, only they're not 1.9 inch. They are on the outside. We've got one here. These are not the standard wheels on this. I have changed them, but again, more on that in another video. So this is one of the standard wheels. It is 1.9 inch on the outside, but on the inside it's 2.2 inches. Which I found out when it was too late, which meant the tyres had to have new wheels as well. Anyway, we'll get into that another day. But they're 120mm tyres, only again, they're not quite 120mm, they're about 114. So the 120mm tyres that I replaced them with were slightly too big and rubbed on the body. Again, get into that another day. What else? So it's a 6-channel radio. It's a really nice radio system actually. I've added this because I wanted a thumb steer so I could film it with one hand and steer with the other, so that's not normally there. but it's basically the rebranded Dumbo RC radio. 6 channels, like I say, so obviously you've got your throttle forward and backwards, your steering, you have a button on the handle which selects first and second gear, a switch on the side here, which in this case switches on the LEDs, because this comes with a really good light kit, loads and loads of lights on it. I love it. I'm a bit hooked on LEDs. And then on the top there's 2 buttons to lock and unlock the front and rear diffs separately, which again, fantastic feature. So we'll get into that a little bit more later. So down to the car. So it doesn't come with all these kind of scale bits and pieces on. I've added those. The roof rack is there. It does come with that. It normally has some jerry cans on the back here, which are these things here. But they just look a bit cheap and plasticky, I think, on the back. Personal opinion. So I've taken them off, put a spare wheel on, and again I'll go into a bit more detail about that in a later video. I have left the jack on there though, because I think the jack's quite cool. I might paint that a little bit, make it look a bit more scale. Okay, so we're in that precarious situation now of having the car powered on the table, so I do need to be a bit careful. So let's have a quick look at all the stuff. Cool LEDs for a start. So the LEDs come, they have 2 options. They have a flashing option, which I can't imagine for a second why you would have that on all the time. That's sort of headache inducing stuff. And then they come with a solid on, and that's the setting they're going to be on all the time. So this nice bright light bar on the front. Part of the reason I bought this, I think, was a good excuse to do some 3D printing. So I have 3D printed a little light cover there. That's normally uncovered, but doesn't seem to have affected the output too much. It has these 2 little cool searchlights, spotlights. When it comes from the factory, they have blue LEDs in them. I have no idea why. Blue LEDs are evil. So swap those out for white. Headlights, side lights, and a feature that some people love, some people don't love, is the indicators work. So as you're steering left and right, hopefully that's coming out okay, we get left and right indicators. Obviously on the back we have the tail lights, indicators again, and it also has reversing and brake lights. The reversing lights come on if you're reversing pretty hard. They do need a bit of voltage to run to sort of kick them into life, and there's no clear panel on the lights, so they come through red, which is a bit weird. And the brake lights, I think you have to have the ESC with a brake setting in for those to work. So yeah, that's the cool light setup. So like I say, it is dual speed, so it's a 2-speed gearbox. I did some speed tests with it at the weekend, and it's quite quick actually. So I mean, it is running on 3S. In first gear, it sort of maxes out at about 6.5 miles an hour, which doesn't sound particularly fast. But when you think that you tend to walk, a fast walking pace is generally 4 miles an hour. It's more than fast enough for sort of walking on the trail with, and it does crawl really nice and slowly. And in second gear, I got about 12.5 miles miles an hour out of it, which I think is really quite quick for a crawler. That's with all the stock electronics. Like I say, very slightly bigger tyres than stock. So that may have a slight bearing on it. Who knows? I don't know which way that would have a bearing on it. I suppose they would have a bigger rolling radius, so I guess they would be a little bit quicker, probably slower to accelerate, higher top end, I think. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, because I would like to know. Let's have a quick look under the hood. So I mean, it's sort of a fairly stock chassis. This is a bit difficult to show you with this camera setup because of the hinged body. Obviously it does have a hinged body, which is quite nice actually, in terms of keeping the scale looks. Doesn't have big ugly sort of body posts and clips sticking out. Has magnets here and mounted under the bonnet. The thing with the magnets, they're not super strong. They're strong enough to hold it in place under kind of general conditions, but if you flip and roll down a hill, it does have the tendency to flip open, and you know, in a bad crash, that could risk the sort of whole hinge mechanism. So what I've printed, again, Thingiverse to the rescue, is a sort of body clip that goes under here, screws in where the magnets are, and actually just clips down underneath a part of the chassis there. So that holds that down pretty well. It has popped open once in a crash, but only once. Okay, so the Hobby Wing ESC is a fairly standard unit, so it has two little jumpers on it, one to select nickel metal hydride batteries if you want to use those, and the other to select, and the other one is LiPo. And then it's got the three different driving modes. So it's got forward, brake, reverse, which is the one where you have to kind of, you know, if you're going forwards and you want to stop, the first time you hit reverse it will brake, and then you have to center again and then hit it again and get reverse. That's no use for sort of crawling. There's forward and brake, so it's just essentially full forward. There is no reverse. You know, any reverse is just the brake. And then there's forward reverse, which is the straightforward pull for forward, push for reverse, and neutral. The brake is on. That's really good, obviously, for rock crawling, because that gives you what's known as a drag brake. So it will hold the vehicle's attitude on a hill, and the brake will apply and it will just hold it in place. So there's the battery, the motor's mounted up front, a little bit high in terms of the centre of gravity. Goes into the 2-speed gearbox, which is just here. There's a gear selector servo, waterproof receiver box, which I'm told is reasonably waterproof, but not completely, so it might be worth getting a bit of conformal coating on the receiver, or putting it in a balloon inside the box is another common trick apparently. And that's about it. There's two more micro servos here for locking the front and rear diffs. And the steering servo actually is axle mounted, which is a little bit unusual nowadays actually. For scale realism, most manufacturers are choosing to chassis mount the servo now. There is a few little bits and pieces on here that really attracted me to this. The lights, because I'm a sucker for LEDs, but also these inner wheel arches came as standard. Something on my desk is rattling. So these inner wheel arches are great for sort of keeping all the muck and the water out the body, and out from the electronics on the inside. So you know, it's little things like that. Like I say, the 2-speed gearbox, the lockable diffs. You know, these are kind of functions and features you normally find on the sort of top end models like the Traxxas CR3.4. So I think that's about all I'm going to talk about in this video. Should you buy the thing? I think you should. If you're in the market for a crawler, and like me, you're just starting out, you perhaps don't want to go full hog and spend £500-600 plus on a Traxxas or a Axial SCX-10.3 or something like that. This is a great buy. You know, it was like I say, £380, ready to go. All I've done is add the batteries, and I've had a huge amount of fun with it already. Obviously, I'm already printing loads, adding loads of scale bits and pieces, upgrading the tyres. Totally didn't need to do any of that out of the box. It was really capable straight from the box. Certainly more capable than I am as a driver of the thing. Goes anywhere that I point it pretty much, unless I really ask too much of it. So that about sums it up for this video. As I said before, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'm going to be doing a few more videos on this Sherpa. We're going to talk about some of the early upgrades that we've done, some changes that you can make for low or no cost modifications to the shock absorbers, and a few other bits and pieces. Talk about some of the scale accessories that we're putting on and how we've done that. And I'll start, setting the links up to all the 3D printed files and what have you that we've got so far. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hope you're keeping safe, and if you've made it to the end now, thank you very much. Please, like I say, like and subscribe and all of that jazz, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.